This is Le Papo. Today we have a special guest. His name is Fed.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, I hope you can hear him. I'm going to check the audio levels really quick on Twitch. And today, different type of stream. We are going to be ranking subjectively Resident Evil games. Um, let's just do the
I
audio
hope
check
people who played the first ones, not the remake, and then the remakes and everything.
and everything. Cool. I don't know why this shit isn't working. Right, okay. Let's see if this is going well. Say a few things, Fed.
Hello there. Hello, hello. Oh, I can hear the echo.
Yeah, I know it's normal.
Okay.
All right. I have to put myself a teeny bit louder, and yeah, this should be fine. I hope it's fine now. I hope it's fine. And we're gonna have you here, Beamba. Here we go. There he is, the most handsomest gentleman of all time. Can you move a little bit? Oh no. I don't know why people can't see you now anymore. Well, this isn't fun. It only works if I technical issues. Hold on.
It's fine. They don't need to see my face.
But your face
Just
is
hear
so
my.
gorgeous.
It's fine.
Oh, I think it's working now.
Okay,
I
good.
hope so. I really hope so. Let's see. Yeah, it's working. Cool. So, oh no, you're gone again. Okay. Well, you know what he looks like. He's not here visually, but he's here spiritually, right? You know what he looks like.
Yeah.
Cool. So, my good friend Fed, we known each other a long time. We played video games together for a long time.
Too long. Too long.
Too long. Yeah, too long. Getting tired, actually. It's a little too much. And we're going to talk about Resident Evil real quick. Should be fairly short because we've played a few of these games,
Yeah.
not all, right?
Yeah.
And
Indeed.
you just came off a stretch of playing a bunch of Resident Evil games, one
I
after the
did.
other.
I did. I did indeed.
Okay.
I did like I started like with the 7 and then I liked it so much that I went back to the first one and played everything.
All right. So let's get this going. Cool. So we have here different rankings, right? At the bottom, did not play. Up top, games that we did not play but are curious to playing. We're staying on a positive note, so we're not going to say this is trash or this and that. We'll just say meh or skip, you know? Um, Above that, we have Resident Evil fans only, which means it could be mostly for people who are really big fans or become big fans, but not necessarily that friendly for newcomers, right? Right above that, we have it's fun with friends. So that's a little caveat, right? Then we have great games, and then the top masterpiece that everybody who plays games should play, right? So let's start with a final audio check. So let's start with a final audio check. So let's start. Cool. Resident Evil 1 for the PlayStation. How do you feel about that?
Well, it revolutionized everything, right? The horror
Mm-hmm.
genre. But I would say now it's. I remember when I played it when I was a kid, it was
Mm-hmm.
very difficult
Yeah.
because of the cameras and also the difficulty itself of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And when I played it recently, I found it was awesome.
Oh.
Story was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the first games where you have like different endings depending on
Mm-hmm.
with which character you start with, which for the time was amazing,
Mm-hmm.
and the puzzles as well. But I think it didn't age very well,
Mm-hmm.
so I would put for Resident fans only if you play it now for the first time.
Interesting. Yeah, I think so too.
If you never played it played.
The first Resident Evil is great. I played it on PlayStation. Did you play it on emulator recently?
No, no, on PlayStation too.
On PlayStation as well, with
Oh,
PS Plus, right?
recently was an emulator. Yeah,
Hmm.
recently was emulator.
Okay. I would agree because it's really rough. Fixed camera angles, right? Old graphics, um, and tank controls, which isn't for everyone. Although it's making a little comeback recently with some horror games. It was a genre on its own for PS1 and PS2 era games, but I would agree. I would say this is for Resi fans only. All right.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2,
Which one? The remake
the
or the
original
old
one.
one?
The original one.
Original one.
Yeah.
I would say this one is it's different because I think you still have the camera, the fixed camera,
Mm-hmm.
but you now have the Nemesis thing they introduced there, which is amazing. Um, I don't know. Maybe maybe I don't know between Resi fans only or great because it aged a little bit better than the first one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I would say great. I would say great.
Let's go. Let's go. I agree because I think it's also a good starting point for new fans,
Yeah,
to see what it was like. And the audio is better, and the acting is better, and
exactly.
so it's
Everything.
both.
We can see that they got more money to do this second game.
Yeah, it's both a piece of gaming history and a really good starting point for Resident Evil, right?
I agree.
Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, the original one. Did you play it?
Yeah, yeah, I did,
Mm-hmm.
but long time ago
Mm-hmm.
when it came out. Was when I was young,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember that it was very frustrating because I was a kid
Mm-hmm.
still, kid-ish. We were like teenagers, so it was very frustrating having the nemesis behind you all the time, like during the entire game.
Yeah. I think.
So I didn't finish that game.
Oh, you didn't
So
finish it.
if
Mm.
no, because it was too frustrating for me
Mm.
as a kid,
Mm-hmm.
as a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
So I would put it in mass skip just because of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably, if I would play it now, I would love it because I know the story is amazing, and the Nemesis thing is very nice. But
But that's
the
because now you're a Resident Evil fan.
exactly. But I'm thinking like probably if people play it now,
Mm-hmm.
they will. It's a very difficult game. I mean, the games before when we were kids, they were way more difficult than the games now, I think.
Right.
So maybe we'll give some frustration, I think. I don't know. So I would put in mass skip, but if you want to put it in great, I agree. I'm also fine. I would only put in mass skip because of my
Your experience
trauma
with
with it when I was young.
it. Your
I would say
trauma.
like this.
Um, I I think Resident Evil 3 is good. It's a good addition to the second one. And I'm gonna put it on great. I agree with you there. I don't think it's just Resident Evil fans only, because at the time I knew plenty of people who were not necessarily Resident Evil fans who enjoyed it, who did not enjoy Resident Evil 1 or 2, for
Yeah.
example. It's more action oriented, right? Still fixed camera angle, everything. So, absolutely. All right, let's move on to Resident Evil Code Veronica. Did you play that one?
No, I'm curious, but I didn't play it.
Same. I mean, I did play it a little bit, but I never went to it. Resident Evil X is, it's not Zero. I think it's a prequel or,
I think it's a prequel to Zero.
yeah, it came out for the Dreamcast in
Or it's
2000.
like at the same time as Zero, but
Yeah,
with other. I think so.
it came out in 2000, I think, for the Dreamcast, which, last Sega console. I tried it, but I didn't keep playing it. So, yeah.
I know it got very good reviews, so if they
Yeah,
one day do a remake, I'll for sure play it.
same. Resident Evil Survivor, I did not play. Did you?
Did not play. No,
Survivor 2, did not play.
same.
Resident Evil Gaiden,
Did not
I
play.
did not play. Resident Evil Remake, did you play it?
I did not play, but I'm curious to try it. But I would have to because it came out for GameCube, I think.
Yeah, it did, and it's
So
pretty
I
good
think
actually.
I would be curious to try it. Yeah.
Okay. I did play it on emulator, and
Mm.
I really enjoyed it. I played it on emulator, say, over 10 years ago, so
Mm-hmm.
it was already um, an aging game. But I think, unfortunately, today, Resident Evil Zero is worth it if you're Resident Evil Remake, the original one, is great. Um, and you don't have to be a Resident Evil fan to play it, as long as you're a uh,
Fine.
horror games fan, you know. So I think we can put it in great.
Sure.
Up next, Resident Evil Zero. Did you play it? Came out for the GameCube.
I did.
Yeah. What
I
did you
did
think?
play it
Mm-hmm.
on PC.
Mm.
I would say Resi fans only because you still have the fixed camera.
Yes.
Mm. And it's difficult. It's very difficult. Like aiming is very, very difficult, and also
Mm-hmm.
it didn't bring doesn't bring that much to the story. I think it's like a nice add-on if you want to know more about the story, but it's not necessary. So that's why I would put it in the Resi fans only.
Yeah, I agree. I when I played it, I don't know if I played it on emulator or PC. I remember it was about 10 years ago.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, I played
Actually,
at that
11
time
years
too.
ago. Ah, okay.
For me, it was something like 10 years ago too, because it was a big sale on Steam, and I
Right.
bought it. Yeah.
Okay. Did you finish it?
Yes, I did.
Ah. I did not finish it. I just started playing something else meanwhile, but I put a solid, I don't know, 7, 8 hours in it.
Mm.
And I got distracted and started playing something else. But I agree that it's for Resi fans only. Um, whether you, it doesn't mean you have to be a super fanatic of Resident Evil. I mean that
No,
you
no, of
have to,
course
you
not.
like the franchise,
I think
regardless
you
of
like the
video
franchise and
games.
you need to be curious about the story. You want to know
Exactly.
more about the story and stuff like that.
Exactly.
In that case, it's worth it.
All right. Super. I don't know what this is. Resident
Oh,
Evil
I
Dead Aim. Is this a Wii game or
don't know.
something? Or a arcade game?
Probably, or like those, like old Xbox
Hmm.
games where you could shoot at the screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
This is Resident Evil Outbreak. Did you play it?
No.
Me neither. So I won't judge. Outbreak 2.
Yeah, no.
Resident Evil. What is this? I can't even see it. I don't know what this is. Did you
Yeah,
play this
no.
thing?
Either. No.
No? Okay. Next. Resident Evil 4. The original one. Did you play that?
Just one question before we continue. Will we
Yes.
be able to reorganize the things afterwards?
Yeah, if you want to, we can reorganize them like at
Yeah.
the end in a nice little recap.
Yeah.
Give me your thoughts on Resident Evil 4, the original one. Give me your thoughts on Resident Evil 4, the
I
original
would
one.
put it in masterpiece. I was really like um I was really like doubting like great or masterpiece, but it gave me so much joy at the time. Like it really transformed the genre. Like the number four. Like the it became more like a shooter game rather than
Mm-hmm.
a horror game, but still it was very stressful in some situations.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember at the end when you are being chased by that huge statue.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, holy shit, what is this? And so I would put it as a masterpiece because it just transformed the genre, like it was very risky play from the developers and the
Yeah.
ones, and I think they made it very well. So that's why I would put it in masterpiece.
I 100% agree because the over the shoulder camera was great. I played it at a friend's place for the first time, and I wondered how can this thing run on the GameCube so well.
Mm,
And at the time, it was
yeah,
an
true.
exclusive for the GameCube. It wasn't available on PS2 or on Xbox, so that was very
Hmm.
clever from Nintendo to get that deal from Capcom.
Yeah.
But I remember it just being so good, and it was one of the first games that I saw that was fun to watch people play. When I was a kid, I didn't enjoy. I mean, I enjoyed watching people play games, but it didn't like grab me as much. Um, and this one was really a joy to watch. And I only got to play it on emulator actually on the computer with Dolphin.
I played it on the
Um,
GameCube.
yeah, so I agree. I think this was the real first masterpiece from Resident Evil because it's a game that you should play if you're a
Yeah.
gamer. If you like video games, you have to play Resident Evil 4. And you don't need to know much of the story
Because it's for
before, you know?
everyone. No,
Yeah,
it's for everyone.
yeah.
It's like you don't need to be a Resident Evil fan or a horror fan to play it. Like everyone can enjoy that game.
Yeah. Difficulty is good. It's really long. It's not really long. It's longer than most Resident Evil games, but it's
Oh,
long enough to make you want to keep going. It doesn't overstay its welcome, right?
mhm.
It's just so good. Yeah. So super. A few years later, another Resident Evil came out, Resident Evil 5.
Fun with friends. I
D-
think if you could not play co-op in this game, it wouldn't be a good game, to be
yeah,
honest.
it would be meh. It would be totally meh.
Yeah, it would be a meh game. But
Um,
the fact that you can do co-op, I spent so many hours in this game
same.
with like co-op, couch co-op at the
Hmm.
time.
In my
Yeah, so
opinion, it's one of the top 10 couch co-op
co-op.
experiences of all time
Yeah, for
across
sure.
any game. You know, it's just so
That's
much
the
fun.
thing that you cannot move when you point, when
Hmm.
you like aim.
True,
It's
I
so
forgot about
stressful.
that. Yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it's like Resident Evil 4. You can only
exactly.
aim when you're standing still. You
Yeah,
can't do it at the
exactly.
same time, which
Yep.
was typical of Resident Evil during this era. And by the way, this game came out for the 360, so it's one generation after the GameCube. Um,
So yeah, I
and
would even put it like super fun with friends
yeah,
because
super
it's
fun
yeah,
with friends. We can put that. Yeah. Okay, asterisk. It's at the top of fun with friends, for
yeah,
sure.
exactly. It's
I,
at the top, but
yeah, it's. I remember with Jack from the channel, during COVID, we played this game twice in a row
yeah.
during lockdown.
Yeah, because especially I think
So
they
good.
already did it in the with the 4, but with the
Hmm.
5, once you finish the game, you have this like new game plus almost where you can like play with unlimited ammo and new
Yeah,
weapons. So it's like it gets even more fun. So that's why we spend
yeah.
so many hours in this game.
New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus with all the
Yeah,
upgrades that you got from the previous run,
yeah,
with
exactly.
higher difficulty. It's super fun with friends. Super fun with friends. Totally agree.
Yeah,
After that, we have Resident Evil, some Mercenaries 3D. Is this a?
no idea what that
I
is.
have
I
no
never
idea
heard
what
about.
this is either. I wonder if it's a Nintendo. What did it call
What
the
is it?
the console that opens like the DS game? I wonder if it's a DS
Ah,
thing.
3D. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
3D. Yeah, most probably. Yeah.
could be right.
Mm-hmm.
After that, we have the Umbrella Chronicles. Did you play that?
No.
Me neither. Did not play. Don't know if it's good or not. After that, Resident Evil, the something something. I don't know what game this is.
Yeah, me neither.
And is that Leon and someone else over there? Huh.
Probably. Yeah, but it's probably
I don't
Leon,
know.
but I don't know.
Yeah, I
Did not play.
I do not know this game. Did not play. Not that curious to be honest. Afterwards, Resident Evil Revelations. Now,
I did not
Revelations
play.
is
I
yeah,
heard.
me too.
I'm
Did not
curious.
play.
I heard about it.
Same. I actually bought it on a big like bundle of Resident Evil games on an Xbox sale. I just never got around to playing it, but it got good reviews at the time. It's like one of the best Resident Evil games that is not a mainline entry.
Mm-hmm.
What did you hear about it?
I don't remember very well, but I remember people saying that it was a good uh, because you had a lot of I think it came back to the origins after the 4 and the 6, which is more
Mm-hmm.
like action. Resident Evil, this one came back to a more horror style. That's why I think people really liked it. But yeah, I don't really remember exactly, but I'm curious about it
Okay,
for sure.
super. Resident Evil 6. Did you play it?
The controversial one. I would put
Controversial.
it in. I would put it in mass skip, for me.
Right. I'm torn
Yeah, I know it's normal.
because yeah, I know. So at the time, we have to understand like context is everything, right? At the time, cover shooters were all over the place, and because of the Gears of War and Mass Effect and everything,
Oh
a
yeah.
bunch of cover shooters were taking the spotlight in the mid 2000s. And at the time, I thought it was alright. And this game has separate campaigns, as some Resident Evil games do. And I tried to play it with Jack a few years back, and we finished the first campaign, the second campaign, the third one, and then there's a fourth one because you have to unlock them as you finish
Can
them.
you play co-op
Yeah, we
in
played in
this?
co-op, and it was fun.
Oh, nice.
Like the
Okay.
first, and it's also it's fun because we like to take the piss because the story is not very good in this one, and it's purely an action game because the zombies literally shoot at you, right?
Exactly. I know.
It's not really a Resident Evil game in the gameplay sense. It is. It does kind of feel like another cover shooter, even
So maybe
though
a fun with friends, I guess.
exactly with co-op it was actually fine. But I'm also reluctant to put it on meh, skip or fun with friends. I'm torn because we did not want to finish it. The last
Mm.
campaign we were just done.
Like,
We were like,
yeah.
no. Whilst Resident Evil 5,
Oh yeah,
we
you played and
replayed it
replayed.
over and over and over again.
Same
So,
here. Yeah.
in a caveat, right? Some people revisit it. They say it can be fun with friends, but to be honest, you can skip it. Like
Yeah.
if
You can skip
you
it. Yeah,
can
for sure.
skip it. Resident Evil 5, you cannot skip. You have to play
Yeah,
it with a
with
friend.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can skip it alone. Like
Alone,
if you
yes.
play it alone.
Yeah. And Resident Evil 6 alone, you can skip it too. So I guess that's why we can put it
Hmm.
in meh or skip. Cool. Revelations 2. Did you play it?
Curious.
Curious. Same. Apparently it's good too. However, if you want to play co-op, I hear that the players have two different roles. Like one player shoots and
Oh,
does stuff, and the other player only has access to
that's other
certain
thing.
types of guns and weapons.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an asymmetrical co-op game where, but I hear the puzzles are good and the story is good.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't play it though. Um, why are you curious about it?
Because of the first one.
Because you're curious about. Okay, fair enough. Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
makes sense. Um, all right, let's move on to Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. Did you play this?
No idea. No, did not play.
I did.
Never. Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. For the 360.
Okay.
And um, so this is where I'm gonna say something a little bit controversial, right? So this ranking is obviously subjective. It's our opinion of it. I remember that I bought it with our friend Francisco, and only after we bought it we realized that you could not play it in co-op. It's a solo game. Yeah, we bought it at like Cash Converter or Media Markt or something like
Yeah.
that. Even though the box said you had co-op, like on the box, it says
What?
co-op. Yeah, I
Really?
know. But then when you play,
Oh
no,
my
it's
god.
online only. This was in
Yeah.
the beginning where some games had co-op
Probably it
but
said
only
like
online.
multiplayer, but multiplayer at the time for us it was like couch co-op.
Exactly. So there is
Yeah.
multiplayer in this game, but not locally. So in the end, I just ended up taking the game home and playing it by myself. I had fun with it at the beginning, and it was alright, but I did find it to be skippable. If you ask me, do you want to play it again? I would say no. It's a fun game to play if you want a third person shooter that you bought for pennies or in the bargain bin at one of these
Then it's a skip.
shops. Come again?
Then I would say with your description, I would say it's a meh skip. It doesn't give me any like.
Unfortunately, yeah. Unfortunately, it was alright at the time because I wasn't playing anything else and I like Resident Evil. I was waiting for the game to get interesting. It didn't get interesting. You can say it's for Resi fans only, but it doesn't add anything to the story. So I'm sorry, it's skippable. Gameplay is tight though. Gameplay is tight. There's hordes of zombies and stuff like that. It is
Cool.
fun,
Okay.
but it's consistently just okay, and then kind of drops off. So, I guess you can skip it. By the way, Xbox 360 game. Yeah. So, unless you really want to go for it, you can go for it. But it's not a game that I do not recommend, but I cannot recommend it either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Skip. Next, Umbrella Corps. Did you play this?
No.
Me neither. I have no idea. Okay, let's move on to Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Green.
Capcom's great comeback with Resident Evil.
Yeah, for sure.
This came out for
I-
the last generation, for PC, for Xbox One, and for PlayStation 4. Let's hear your opinion.
So the only reason I wouldn't put it into Masterpiece
Mhm.
is because they've cut a lot of things from the original story.
Mhm.
It's much shorter, and also they made it very easy. Let's say like this. So you, when you are at the police station, for example, the big guy, Mr. X,
Mhm.
I think that's his name.
Yeah.
He follows you around and it's very cool, like the sounds, and it's very stressful, but it doesn't follow you around as much as in the original one.
Mhm.
I would for sure put it at the top of great. But yeah.
Interesting. So when I played Resident Evil 2 Remake at the time, I was really, really happy because the engine was amazing, the graphics were amazing. It had there's a gore level to it where you can really see the anatomy of the zombies. Depending on where you shoot it, it will show different things and different animations. So I thought that was really cool.
True.
The atmosphere is amazing as well.
That's true. Yeah.
And at the time, I thought, wow, it's been such a long time since we had a really good over the shoulder Resident Evil. And in this one, the controls are completely modernized, right? So you can move and aim at the same time. I like that Dr. X keeps chasing you, especially the first few times that cunt shows up. It's literally a jump scare.
Yeah.
I like the different weapons. The puzzles are all right. They're nothing, nothing too convoluted, but still fun to play. And it's cool to go around the map back and forth, kind of like you do with Metroidvanias in a way, to unlock different parts of the map. And it didn't feel like a chore to go back and forth as much as it does in other games. And
That's true.
I agree with you that at the time, I felt like, wow, this is a masterpiece that everybody should play. But there's other Resident Evil games that I think are above
Yeah.
it. So I believe it's between
Exactly.
masterpiece and great, right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly. I would say great plus plus or
yeah,
something
great
like that.
plus plus, right? It's like right over here at the top
Mm.
of great. It's a 9.5 out of 10, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Super. Up next, Resident Evil 3 remake came out a couple of years later. Originally intended as DLC, but then got sold as fully priced, or almost fully priced. I think it wasn't 60 euros, but maybe like 49.99 or something like that. How do you feel about this game?
That's exactly the thing. I really felt it was a DLC,
Mhm.
and it's a great DLC. But you just feel that you're playing an extension of the Resident Evil 2 that you just played before.
Agreed.
So I would put it in great, but just a normal great.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to play. The graphics are as good as Resident Evil 2, the mechanics as well. It's less horror, more shooting.
Mm-hmm.
You have less jump scares. The Nemesis is also, compared with the original one, he's like very passive, let's say like this.
Yeah,
You,
avoidable.
you
You
I,
know.
yeah, I didn't really feel threatened by him, so I was like, yeah, whatever, he's here. I'll shoot him in the face and then I'll just go around him.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would put it in great because I wouldn't skip it. Cannot play it with friends. It's not only for Resident Evil's fans. I would put it as great.
Yeah, and
Normal
it's a
grade.
very good bar. If you played Resident Evil 2 remake, it's a really good bargain to play it again.
Hmm.
to play it after that. Also, the problem is it's pretty short. I stream this actually. It's on the channel, so you can guys can find it on YouTube on our channel. It's also a fun game to play while friends are watching and stuff. I think there's some really cool scenes with especially the hospital, right? When you start playing with Carlos.
Oh yeah, the hospital is cool. Yeah.
I thought that was really cool. But it's not as good as Resident Evil 2 Remake. So I agree, let's just put it somewhere around here, maybe.
Hmm.
Um, I guess, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Um,
sounds good.
Something like that. Still worth playing, though. It is great. It plays
Of
amazing. The
of
story
course,
holds, true.
still a very good game.
Still a very, very good game. Just at the time that it was released, fully priced. I had to buy it on sale. I didn't buy it on release, unfortunately. Resident Evil
Me
2 I
too.
did,
Yeah.
but 3 I did not.
Yeah.
All right. Next one, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard.
Okay. So this one I will put it in masterpiece because
Ooh.
for several reasons. First, it was the game that made me come back to the franchise. It was after that game that I decided, holy shit, I have to replay everything. Then they came back to the horror uh, in a way which is like amazingly done. For me, it's the scariest Resident Evil. Easy.
Wait, asterisk. I
Yeah.
watched streams of this game. I played it the first like 3 hours and then just watched the rest on YouTube because I thought that could be a more passive experience. You did not play it the same way I did. So please tell the people who are watching, how did you play this game?
What do you mean I didn't play the same way
Did you
as
play
you
it with
did?
controls?
This one, yes.
Oh, but you also played it in VR, didn't you?
Words. Yeah.
Ah.
So the first time I just played it normally,
Oh, okay.
and it was very very nice and very scary. Like for me, for the scariest Resident Evil, easy.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I had to pause the game and like take a breath. Like
Turn on the
chill a little
lights.
bit. And, yeah, continue. Like I like Ariana was reading behind next to me, and I was like screaming at some point, like "Holy shit!" Because like the jump scares and the
Mm-hmm.
ambiance is amazing. Like it's crazy, well done. Like the idea that they got to, you are basically a journalist. What's amazing in this game is that you are just a normal guy, a journalist
Mm-hmm.
looking for his wife in a Louisiana house, abandoned, that you think is abandoned house, next to the bayous. So it's like the whole atmosphere is amazing. So I loved it. In the second time with the VR, it's crazy good because it gives you a feeling of depth, which I don't know how to explain it. Like, remember at the beginning when you are in the house and
Mm-hmm.
you have a stair that goes up,
Mm-hmm.
right? That when I looked at that stair in the VR, I was like, "Holy shit! I don't want to go up there." It was fucking scary. But even if nothing happened, I knew what was
Yeah.
going to happen because we played it normally before. It's like it's so well done.
You got
So
PTSD, right?
for sure a masterpiece. Like they really outdid themselves in this one. I think in
Yeah.
the not maybe so much in the story. The story is very like, it's good, but the
Experience?
like experience, like one of the best horror games I've played. Easy.
Okay. What I like really a lot about this game, even just watching streams, is the audio design. I think it's really
Also,
cool. Like, you can
yeah,
almost feel the moisture in the air while you play
exactly.
this game. Even just watching it, right? It's like a walking simulator plus,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because you do interact with things and you do need a controller to get through the game, as opposed to just walking back and forth and interacting. It's not a point and click, obviously. And I
Mm.
don't remember, are there puzzles in this game?
Yeah, they are, but
Okay.
not very big puzzles.
Mm-hmm.
Small ones, easy ones, but there are some
All right. So masterpiece it is. Some people might disagree with that, but
for me.
it's subjective.
Yeah, it's our opinion. I mean, it's the feeling I got when I played it, yeah, what it brought me.
Right. Up next, Resident Evil Village. Village, a continuation of the story of Resident Evil 7, right? Which is like a soft reboot
Yeah,
with new characters and everything. Even though we get Resident Evil Village kind of ties the story of the classic Resident
yeah, it
Evil
does.
mainline,
Yeah,
and then with the new Ethan is his name,
it just
right?
gave it a bit of, yeah, Ethan. Yeah.
Um,
Uh, so I had a lot of fun playing Village,
mm-hmm,
and I played it I mean, not several times, but I played, I think, 2 or 3 times. So first I played normally, then I tried to speed run it because it's just fun to do, and then I tried to have some collectibles. So it's a very good game. But it didn't give me this feeling that this original Resident 4 and 7 gave me, you know.
mm-hmm.
So I think I will put it in grade plus plus like the remake of Resident Evil 2.
Okay. I agree with that because when I started playing it, I liked the new setting. So this came out before we'll talk about it in a minute, Resident Evil 4 remake. But it gave me vibes from Resident Evil 4 in the beginning, that part where you're in the
Exactly.
village, the weather, and I
Hmm.
remember the feel of horror and like when you don't want to move forward and you can't
Yeah,
move
yeah, yeah.
back. I felt that when you encountered the werewolves in the beginning that you were not expecting as much when you see your first werewolf just
Yeah.
over there just like
In your face,
waiting
crazy.
under the what do you call it, the weeds,
Oh
and the
yeah,
tall
yeah, yeah.
grass, and then another one shows up and another one shows up and you just feel like you got this shitty gun or just a knife and you're really completely not equipped to move forward with this. So the first few hours of this game were really cool. I really like the setting of the castle because when I was a kid I used to go on holiday to this really old house from it belonged to the family of my grandma and my grandpa, which is a 600-year-old house. I mean, it would be like a villa, right? Today
Mm.
with like many
Yeah.
many rooms. And when I was a kid at night, I was terrified. It's cold. Everything is old. The furniture, everything, like very like colonial stuff that they brought from Africa,
Yeah,
family from Mozambique, and the chandeliers and everything, and the mirrors and the wood creaking and the rats in the walls, and at midnight, the church dome,
Clock.
dome.
Yeah.
So when I was 8 years old, if I want to pee at 1 a.m.,
You
I'm not
wouldn't be.
going. I'm
Yeah.
staying in bed. I'll pee in the morning, you know. The game gave me a lot. It was a really good experience to play this game, especially the first few hours. And yeah, Step on Me, Mommy, all the Lady Dimitrescu stuff was fun. The part with spoiler alert, just skip the next 15 seconds if you don't want to hear this. The baby stuff was really spooky.
Oh yeah, the baby stuff it was great. I
Yeah,
was like, oh, what the fuck is
yeah.
this shit?
So it plays great, lots of great moments, but it's more of a horror first-person shooter than it is a horror game. So I agree, it's on great. We're gonna put it here for now. Yeah. Moving on, Resident Evil Resistance. I did not play. Did you?
Oh, me neither.
Reverse. I tried. I would put this in trash or skip. I barely played it, so I'm not going to.
Didn't play.
No comment. Resident Evil 4 VR. I did not play this. Did you?
I did. I did the normal for,
Mm-hmm.
and then the VR.
Thoughts?
And the VR, I would put it in masterpiece.
Resident Evil 4 VR masterpiece.
That's the same game. Wait.
It's Resident Evil 4, but in VR.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. A
Ah,
masterpiece.
okay. Tell me why.
You will try when you come home. When you come to my place, you'll try it.
Okay.
It's
Why would you put it in
it,
masterpiece? I don't know anything about this game.
Have you played the remake of the 4?
No, just watched it. I know a
Ah,
lot about it, but it's like on my wish list. I have an outsider's solid opinion without having played it. Uh,
okay. So the thing is, it was done for the new VR of the PS4,
mhm,
PS5, and the new VR is very, very good. The new VR of the PS5, and imagine yourself like it gives you an immersion that's me. That's the best thing of this new VR,
mhm,
the VR2. Imagine yourself in this Spanish village
mhm.
with like a bunch of crazy Catholic infected people
Uh-huh.
going around, and you are like just I don't know. It's just like all the setting and the immersion is crazy. You don't see the time passing. You are just there in this horrible like anxiety that gives you anxiety, this village with these people. The story itself, I would like the normal Resident Evil, I would put
Mhm,
it in great. The remake of the 4,
mhm.
but the VR I would put in masterpiece because of the immersion.
So the
You'll
VR
try it
aspect
when you
is
come.
okay. So the
Yeah,
VR
yeah, the
aspect is
VR.
just that
You
good.
can, yeah, you can really see that they did it on that they knew that they were going to do a VR version.
Mhm.
You know, it's not like they did a normal game and then later on they adapted it for the
Ah,
VR.
it's not a VR port. It's its own
Yeah,
experience, right?
they like since the start thought about the VR experience and everything.
Mhm.
So
All
yeah,
right,
it was
cool.
the VR is amazing.
I
You'll
believe it.
try it when you come home.
Right, Resident Evil 4 remake.
Great game. Had loads of fun. Played it 2 times, I think. Um, but
Twice. Ah, okay.
yeah, but the first one it was just to finish the story, and second one it was for collectibles and stuff, just to have
Mhm.
some fun. Because it has the same thing as the other Resident Evils, that you have the new game plus with the same weapons of upgrade as before. I mean, the problem is if you've played the original,
Mhm.
you won't like that much this game because they
Oh,
cut
don't
a lot
say
of the
that,
story.
bro. I really want to play it.
The mechanics are
Mhm.
great. The game itself is great, but they've cut a lot of iconic parts of the first game, and this pissed me off a little bit. So that's why
Ah,
I've put it in grade.
interesting.
Yeah.
I again because I did not play it, I just saw a lot of
Mhm.
content about it. I followed the development as well. I thought it was going to be a masterpiece game that would be a lot of fun. But again, I did not play it, and you played both quite
Yeah.
recently. So if you have a fresh perspective on it, I I believe you.
When you'll come, we'll play together all of these games again. That would be cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, all right, let's have a look. So this is it, like all the main
Yeah.
Resident Evil games. Um, Masterpiece. From
I would put.
left being the best and the right. Um,
I think that's correct for me.
this is correct for you? Yeah.
Yeah, I would maybe. I don't. For me, the 4 and the 7 are at the same level because of
Mm-hmm.
the experience they both gave me when I played, like how I felt. But I think it's fine like this because the 4 was really like revolutionizing at the time. Like we would like when we were kids, a game like this coming out, it was really like wow.
Yeah, agreed. Fourth one is really, really good. Even, like I said, I only played through all of it with the emulator. I bought it for Xbox, didn't play it, but I could easily go back to it. The only reason why I haven't
Yeah,
is because the remake came out, and I thought, might as well just play the remake instead.
yeah,
Um,
for sure.
would you say the Resident Evil 4 is still worth it to play today instead of the remake?
Not instead. I would say play both of them.
Play
But
both of
yeah,
them.
for
Ah.
sure it's still good to play
So,
because
yeah.
the that's what I said. Like the fourth gives you a lot of iconic moments
Mm-hmm.
which are missing in the remake. Like when I was talking about this huge statue that follows you around
Mm-hmm.
in that church. That was amazing. I loved it in the fourth, and it's missing in the remake. Like I think it's worth playing, but both of them, not because the four. The controllers are very well done. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like graphics are great. You have a lot of fun just shooting the people, kicking zombies in the face.
Yeah,
So
Taekwondo
it's
and
still very,
RKO in the
yeah,
face, right?
exactly. It's still very worth playing the Resident Evil 4,
Yeah.
the
So
remake.
that's saying a lot, saying that Resident Evil 4, the original, almost a 20-year-old game, it's available on with 60 frames per second if you play it on a. It's been ported to the modern consoles, so it's kind of a little rebrush. It plays almost like a remaster, actually. So it keeps all the same core components of the original game, but it just looks better. Um, and saying that it's worth it despite the remake being available, I think that says a lot.
Yeah,
So
exactly,
cool.
exactly.
Let's go to the great games, which are 9 out of 10s and up. I would
Mhm.
say. Um, where, how would you rank these? We have two, four, Village, the original Resident Evil 2, which is a very different experience from the Resident Evil remake. Um,
I think I would
of the
swap
two.
for Village and 4.
Really? How come?
Yes, because of what you said at the beginning of the
Mm-hmm.
Village. Like
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you are in this, you arrive. First, there is also the VR
Mm-hmm.
Village, which is amazing. It's like you arrive at this village and you see this huge castle. Like it gives you really like you really want to explore and go everywhere. The bosses are very nice. Um, so I think I just had so much fun playing the
Mm-hmm.
village, and I played it more times than the Resident Evil 4. So
Ah. In Resident Evil
yeah,
Village, the bosses and the antagonists, the bad guys, have their own personality, and you
that's
have
what I
to
love. It
like
is
beat
the
them like stage
personality
by
of the bad
stage.
guys. Yeah,
Um,
that's what I love is the personality of the
mhm.
bad guys.
Yeah, I.
Each bad guy has its own personality and his own, and whenever you go face them, you enter like in their world, and their world is like totally different. So you have
Mhm.
like the lady Dimitrescu, which is in this castle, and you really feel like you are in a castle, like almost like in
Like
Resident Evil 1.
almost like
You know,
Dracula
like
as well. Like
yeah,
you get a
exactly.
little bit of what's it called,
Yeah,
Castlevania feel,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Then you have uh, the one with the baby, which is fucking
Hmm.
scary. Like, yeah, I really enjoyed that
The
that part.
catacombs with all
Yeah,
the
the catacombs, yeah,
werewolves, the one near the river,
exactly,
which is also fun.
which is just nasty. So yeah, I really liked it. That's why I've just I'm not saying that Rest 4 is a bad game. I just enjoyed more
Hmm.
Village for reasons.
All right.
But the rest sounds good. Mhm.
Resident Evil 2, it's so the 2 and 3 original ones, I think that it's between Resi fans only and great. Meaning, if you want to have retro experience, because I mean, nowadays PSX is considered retro, um, it really is a great game. Like, if you say, hey, here's like 5 or 10 PlayStation games that you should play even today on emulator or through PS Plus or something like that. I think Resident Evil 2 is one of those games, right?
Mhm.
Um, and it is a different experience from the remake, so it does belong there on its own. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. What about the two Resident Evil 3s? How would you rank them here?
I would leave it like this because
Mm-hmm.
the what that's what I said. The remake is great because it's a remake, but it feels like a DLC, and
Mm-hmm.
but the original really feels like a new game. You know,
True.
so
And
that's why
Resident Evil remake
didn't play. I didn't
from
play
20
New
years
Game.
ago. Yeah, I did, and I think it's right between Resi fans only and great. Only, I would put it great, and not just only for Resident Evil fans because it is still the original, and it was redone. It's an old game now, but it could be considered clunky by today's standards. But at the time, or even 10 years ago, it's still plays much better than the original. Like the level of effort required to actually play the game and have a good experience with it is not necessary. I mean, it's not as
Nowadays, the
arduous as
original
it
is
is with the original
painful.
one. Come again?
Nowadays, the original is painful, especially for
Yeah,
someone who never played it.
yeah. Like this is fixed camera angles, yeah, tank controls,
Yeah.
but it's
And
still
controls,
okay.
you don't see where you are aiming,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
You have to guess more or less. You don't have an aim in your
Mm-hmm.
screen, so you have to guess where the character is pointing the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have limited ammo, that's very frustrating. And also the space that you have, like to keep things on you,
Mm-hmm.
uh, that's also very frustrating. You have to like all the time throw things away and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a bit
Agreed.
frustrating.
Super. Next, super fun with friends. There's only one, right? Top 10
Yeah,
co-op
the one and
experiences.
only.
One and
Mhm.
only Resident Evil 5. Lots of memeable moments in that game.
I hope
Shama!
I heard they're going to do the remake of the five. So
Mm. Oh, that would be so much fun. I hope they
exactly.
add a few things to it too. I wonder if they'll
Yeah,
make it just fixed point and aim, like you have to stop if you want to aim, or if they're going to make it able to move and shoot
I
at the
think they
same
will be
time
able because it's what they did with the other
with the other two,
remakes.
right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Resi fans only. I think this looks fine because it's
Yeah. Same. The original is the original. It's very frustrating and
yeah.
difficult and painful to
Hmm.
start, but it's still the original, and it's very nice.
But it's gaming history too,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So I would think that like this is fine.
Yeah. And Resident Evil Zero, a really good prequel. It aged, still worth it, but only if you're very very curious as a fan. Meh and Skip, it's kind of painful to put Resident Evil 6 here, but it's what it deserves,
Yeah,
in my
I would
opinion.
more easily play the six than the other one.
Than Raccoon City.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Raccoon City is just, it's only there because I happen to have played it. Otherwise, I think it is absolutely skippable. And curious about it, Code Veronica, I don't know
I
how it
agree.
plays.
For me, I'm the it's but Veronica is way older. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
Dreamcast
Mm-hmm.
or something like that. You know, but so it probably aged a lot. But I'm very curious because a lot of people say that this is one of their favorite Resident Evil games
Mm-hmm.
from the old ones. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious about that one.
Yeah, I almost thought about putting on Resi fans only, but only because I didn't. But I did not play it, so I
Yeah,
have to
since
say
I
that I'm
didn't play it, I
curious.
won't put it.
Yeah, and Revelations 1 and 2, they're great games apparently, very worth playing, but neither I nor Fed played these games. And the rest we did not play. I'm sure there's a few of these that some people did play. You can let us know in the comments or give any recommendations. But then again, from what I hear online, these never get mentioned when it comes to great Resident Evil games. So I think this
A
is
bunch of them I
absolutely
never
fine.
heard of. So
Yeah. So yeah, this is what it looks like. If you're a gamer, you must play what's at the top. You should play what's on great, whether you like horror games or Resident Evil. I believe that all the modern ones, all the remakes, I mean, anything after Resident Evil 2 is worth it. With the exception of Resident Evil 4, which we can put in there too, because even though it's a very old game, it's still very good. So, you played all of. Which ones did you play this year when you went back to it? Just as a quick recap.
oh, the just remakes.
The remakes.
So Resident Evil. I started with the seven,
Mm-hmm.
and I did Village,
Mm-hmm.
and then two, three, four.
Okay. And you had a good time, worth your money, right?
All of them. I
All of
had a
them.
good time in all of them. All the remakes are amazing
All right.
in their own way. They are always obviously have good and bads, and
Mm-hmm.
but as you see, all of the remakes, none of the remakes are below grade. So
All right. Super. So this is it. Fed is over here, I believe. You can see
Yeah, I'm
him.
still here.
No, over here actually. Yeah, he's still here. Now we got his face again. Thank you so much for coming over. And soon we will do the same thing, but most likely with two other franchises that we very much love. Um, Halo games that we played all
Yeah.
the games, right? So we're gonna do another one for Halo, and another one for very. It's not okay. There's not amazing games there, but it's very close to our heart, especially for many reasons we'll mention. The Dynasty Warriors franchise. So stay
Oh yeah.
tuned, and
My God.
yeah, those are gonna be fun.
Maybe for that one you can invite someone else too.
Come again?
Maybe for the Dynasty Warriors one, we can invite Lawrence because I think he has a lot to say about those two.
Yeah, I think so. It's gonna be fun. Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
everybody. Take care.
Okay.
Bye bye.
See
See you
you.
around. And we